Hello, can I please speak to Parminder Singh? Hello, my friend. How are you? Look, listen, I'm going to cut to the chase. I need your management position over at the Dunkin' Donuts. Am I calling 7-Eleven? I'd like to speak to the manager, please. Hi, is this Mr... Oh, you're also Parminder Singh. What are you guys, Italian cousins? Oh, you are cousins. I don't think I'm overly qualified. Yes. And when they come in and they get their lottery tickets, take it and go. Take it and go. Take it and go. Yes, take it and go. My mother would be proud. Yes. Hello, Pecking House. I don't have a lot of experience with that, but, I can't do the register. I can do that job. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. Well, this is looking hopeful. Wait, so I can... Look, I speak your language. Any sauce, soy duck hot? You want a shrimp fried rice? Small, medium, large? Lunch a special or a combination? Yeah, you want a wonton soup? You want a wonton soup? See, I do that real good. How much y'all gonna pay me? Because, I need to rake up $20 million real quick. $3.25 an hour. Are you out of your kunk pal mind? You're useless, but hey, don't forget my hot sauce and my wontons. Can I pay you tomorrow? Is this the We Get High All the Time smoke shop on the corner of West and 2nd? Wagwan, my brother. Listen, I'm actually who you supposed to be thanking for legalizing marijuana, but, I need a job. How do I become a distributor? Because I need me some real money. I'm in a bumperclat situation. Hello?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Viewers Discretion. I'm your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Lawgic. That is not the only funny video I have for you tonight. I actually had a different one that I was thinking about using for my opening. I certainly plan on dropping you all later at some point tonight. And then I have a couple of really non-political, bizarre, funny... I don't know if I'm laughing with or at, but I definitely was laughing when I saw them. Not sure laughing with or at. Maybe we'll have like a little game out of it. Are we laughing with or at this? Maybe we'll run that. I'll run that by you guys later. Anyhow, I was very late tonight in my start time, so I really should just jump on in with the first story here because there's a lot that I got to cover for you all, and we're going to start with, I guess, Representative Matt Gaetz. That's where I think I want to start things off tonight. Let's start by talking about Representative Matt Gaetz. Now, recently, over the past week, there's been multiple reports that there's a call that's been put out, most notably by Gaetz haters, that the House Ethics Committee, which has been conducting an investigation into the conduct of Matt Gaetz, should release the findings of that report. Purportedly, he was involved in some sort of escapade of a scandalous sexual nature that the House Oversight Committee was investigating, and they want the report released. Some people speculate, the left certainly is going to speculate very hard, as will the rhinos who can't stand Matt Gaetz will be speculating that part of the reason for his rapid departure from the House prior to being officially designated as the new Attorney General, as many of you are aware, he was pegged publicly by Donald Trump to become Donald Trump's attorney general at the commencement of the second Trump administration when he becomes number 47. He plans on appointing Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz, as soon as that announcement became public, stepped aside. Now, the reasons that he set forward for why he stepped aside were that he wanted to enable that seat to be quickly filled. And if we look at the map and how it's been filling up behind closed doors in California and other states which have been taking a ridiculously, obscenely long time in counting their ballots, we see that the map has been propagated of late with a whole bunch of Democrats and not too many Republicans. If we actually if we pull up at least as far as how the New York Times election results, and again, this is not official, and Decision Desk may have different numbers, but if we pull up the election results, we start seeing that it starts getting propagated. It was at like 217 to 204, 205. Now we're at 218, which we crossed over onto Thursday or Friday under the New York Times perspective of things. And the Democrats are up to over here at 212. That's right, 212. And in fact, there was recently in the 45th district some shaky things happening there where there was a whole bunch of ballots that dropped in District 45. Where are you? Over here, where Derek Tran took the lead over incumbent Michelle Steele, when there was all of a sudden lots of ballots being counted that no one had seen before, and now she's trailing by a couple of dozen votes, literally a couple of dozen out of over 300,000 votes. So some very convenient vote reckoning going on there in District 45, threatening incumbent Republican Michelle Steele from retaining her seat in the House. This was a seat that New York Times had predicted that she would be keeping, and all of a sudden now looks less secure. And and this seat here too also has purportedly flipped by a pretty small number here. That was by 8,000. Over here we see there was a flip where Janelle Bynum took a seat from Republican. Where all of a sudden now she's got a 9,000 vote lead. That one I think was there beforehand. And a couple of these races, Tom Barrett here flipped at Michigan's District 7. That had been called, I think, a while ago. But while we're expecting that in Alaska, Nick Begich should hold on to his lead there, over there in Alaska, they use their weird way of counting ballots where they give second choice and third choice and balloting. So no one's really sure exactly how that's going to shape out ultimately when they finish with their whole popular vote where they have ranked choice voting. So as I understand it works in Alaska, and if I'm wrong, someone from Alaska, probably Pam can correct me, that if you're not one of the top two candidates, they start peeling off your votes until they get to someone who has 50% of the vote. So they basically will peel off, let's say they'll peel off in Alaska, John Wayne Howe votes. If neither Begich nor Peltola have the 50%, have hit the 50% margin, in that case they will start peeling off votes and say, okay, well, let's see who the people who voted John Wayne Howe, who was their second choice, and which of the top two candidates can we give it to? Until one of them hits 50%. So that's why Alaska has been taking forever. Yet another argument against ranked choice voting, is pretty stupid. And yeah, but the House here looks very tight. Now, I talked with you all about how every one of these Republican House members who Trump adds into his administration, that seat would be up for grabs. So far, we know he's named Elise Stefanik, who's over here in New York's 21st district, a district which is pretty Republican. It shouldn't be surprising that in New York, when you go upstate New York, there are certain districts which are pretty strongly red. And so I guess there's not much of a concern that seat would flip blue. But if you're talking about Republicans actually finishing with 218 in the House, that's it starts becoming a very scary thing. If they're safer at 223, 224, it's obviously less of a concern when you start pulling off Republican House members to serve in the administration. Matt Gaetz over here in District 1 in Florida won handily with a 2/3 to 1/3 vote. Now, this panhandle area of Florida is notoriously Republican, so we should be pretty confident that you could put a cup of water there with put an R by his name, and that the individual who's carrying that R is going to succeed in overcoming Gabe Valmont, who likely would run in the special election that would be held for Florida's 1st district. But the reason that I brought this up into question here is because Representative Matt Gaetz is someone who there's a very strong push to keep him from being confirmed by the Senate. Now, you all are aware, we covered this last week, how the Senate held their private ballot vote for who was going to be the new Senate Majority Leader. That individual clearly will hold a great deal of weight and sway as to how the Senate is going to vote and whether they're just going to rubber stamp his agenda. John Thune has claimed that he plans on rubber stamping the MAGA agenda. He claims to have changed the nature of his ways, and that he's going to back up Trump completely 100%, and that he's got his back, and don't worry about it, and everything's going to be just fine from me. You don't have to worry about me. And he's going to be supporting Trump and the MAGA agenda. In fact, it's reported here, he says that he is adamant about Trump support driving MAGA despite tense past relationship. Thank you for your little stupid pop-up ad there.
Save on your everyday wellness with Advocare and get a free sample of Spark for Rehydrate.
Yeah, so thank you for that. Appreciate that very, very much for your stupid little report here. Fine. Let's play it.
Chris was wide open under the basket, and you should have given him the ball.
Speaking live right now. Let's watch.
After the game, my dad pointed that out, and he said, Chris was wide open under the basket, and you should have given him the ball. That was my dad. He hated ball hogs. He wanted me and my siblings to be team players. He always believed that if there was somebody else who had a better shot than you did, that
he's such a friggin' politician. Oh my God. Everything about him just oozes. It's like there's a trail of snake slime everywhere he goes.
You got him the ball. And that's my goal as leader, to pass the ball to the best positioned player, to empower everybody on the team. We have a lot of brilliant people in the Republican conference, brimming with ideas and knowledge. And it will be my job to make sure that they have the chance to use those ideas and that knowledge to strengthen our country and to make life better for the American people. That's what I focused on as chairman of the Senate Commerce Committee. It's what I focused on as whip. And it's what I plan to do as leader.
Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, we're not going to know whether or not this is lip service or this is legit until we see whether every senator goes along with it. Every senator confirms every one of his picks. As soon as we start seeing they're breaking the rank,
a cat does a somersault.
He's the person to be blamed. John Thune is the individual who's to blame for that, because he should be able to quell his own house. If you're really there, I don't want to simply see Thune himself personally voting, because a lot of times what they're likely to do is, oh yeah, I'll vote for it, but I'll arrange to have 5 or 6 other people that I know will vote against it. That's what Kevin McCarthy did when he tried to stay on as speaker, where you had this little wing of people who would basically vote to support him until that finally got exposed by of all people, Matt Gaetz. And we'll see. We're going to know pretty quickly whether or not Thune is full of crap. But given his history, I'll tell you now, he's full of crap. I don't trust him at all. I'll be happily surprised to see unanimity from the GOP senators in confirming Donald Trump's appointments. Do I expect to see it? No. Is there a chance I'll be happily surprised? Yes, there's definitely a possibility of that. That could happen. But let's take a quick look at how this story started, where it's been, where it's going. Okay, so it all started all the way back in 2021 is when we first heard about Gaetz purportedly engaging in improper conduct. This is a report from 2021.
Now we're going to have the latest on Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. He's facing an FBI investigation over allegations of a relationship with an underage girl. And Republican leaders now say he could be stripped of his Judiciary Committee seat if the charges are true. Congressional correspondent Rachel Scott has the latest. Good morning, Rachel.
I will tell you, Shiloh, I do plan on touching on the Bucks County thing. I appreciate you sharing that with me. I plan on using the video you shared with me. So thank you on that. Baruch Hashem, my sister's off the vent and stable. Oh, Baruch Hashem, that's amazing news. Gaetz, the designated cancel. Well, we'll see. Damn well better not be. And that would leave him high and dry. I mean, I guess in theory, if Trump wants to insulate him, he could say, even if you get canceled, I'll give you some staff position that doesn't need confirmation. But that would be a real slam in his face. Shabbos was over before 6 and you wait until 2 a.m. I was working. Also, I have family and stuff. Don't judge.
George, good morning. The political future for Congressman Matt Gaetz really hanging in the balance here as we learn more details about the scope of the investigation. Not only has it been...
I understand. They're saying that his career is hanging in the balance in 2021. That's how long ago this was. We're almost 4 years removed from this, or at least 3.5 years removed from it.
And going on for months, we are told that it stretches beyond Florida and that multiple witnesses have already been interviewed.
This morning, the investigation into whether Congressman Matt Gaetz had a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old sending shockwaves through Washington. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy saying if those allegations turn out to be true, Gaetz will lose his committee assignments.
Those are serious implications. If it comes out to be true, yes, we would remove him if that was the case. But right now, as Matt Gaetz says, it is not true, and we don't have any information. So let's get all the information.
But Democrats say more needs to be done. Gaetz sits on the Judiciary Committee, which has congressional oversight of the Justice Department. Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu tweeting this message to McCarthy. You can't have Gaetz sitting on the congressional committee that has oversight over the department that is investigating him. Sources say that investigation has been going on for months. It started during the Trump administration.
So this goes all the way back to the Trump administration. Oh, wow. So this is like more than 4 years we've been hearing about these purported allegations. That's interesting.
Barr, who was the attorney general then, was briefed multiple times. And this morning, we're learning the inquiry into his conduct stretches beyond his home state of Florida, and that federal authorities have already interviewed multiple witnesses. Investigators are looking to see whether Gaetz paid for travel expenses for the teen, but Gaetz denies all of it.
I have not had a relationship with a 17-year-old. That is totally false.
And many still scratching their heads over this now infamous moment on Fox News that left even host Tucker Carlson confused.
And I'm not gonna kid you. When this story broke, I remember looking at this and thinking to myself, this guy looks as if he's running to Tucker for cover, and Tucker is like, I'm not covering for you. It does. At the time, that is what I said about him. I don't remember if I don't think I was streaming back then. I may have been. I don't recall. But I recall commenting that Gaetz was looking guiltier by trying to say, hey, you remember. And Tucker is about to say, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Actually, you and I went to dinner about 2 years ago. Your wife was there, and I brought a friend of mine. You'll remember her. And she was actually threatened by the FBI, told that if she wouldn't cop to the fact that somehow I was involved in some pay-for-play scheme, that she could face trouble.
I don't remember the woman you're speaking of or the context at all, honestly. That was one of the weirdest interviews I've ever conducted. I don't think that clarified much.
So that, and it was a lengthier exchange there where it just felt very awkward. Where he's like, don't start. It seemed like Tucker was saying, don't start saying I'm an alibi for you, because I'm not going down this road. You know, I'm not your alibi. And it was kind of an awkward thing, which made Matt Gaetz look all the guiltier. I'm not going to kid you. And I said so at the time. And I don't want us to forget that moment, just give a pass to Matt Gaetz just because we like some of his conduct, to pretend that, oh, everything here is fine. If in fact he engaged in an illicit relationship, an improper relationship, that's something that we would call the left out on very, very aggressively so we can understand, and properly so, right? Now, And I want to be clear about something when I'm talking about I'm talking about this particular type of crime where they're talking about a 17-year-old. I certainly never want to give any sort of cover for grooming or pedos or anything of that nature. Okay. Some people, so but I want you to be aware of all the facts. Some people defend Gaetz and saying even if it was a 17-year-old, that's, well, in many states across the country, that 17 is old enough to give consent. In the state of Florida, it's considered unless the man who's engaging in coitus with the woman is within 4 years of her age, it's considered to be statutory R word. So it would be a crime. Now, whether or not you think that it being illegal in Florida, whereas in other states like in New York, it happens the age of 17. I have no idea what it is here in Jersey, but in each state there are different ages across across the bandwidth there. So some people will try and give him some sort of pass. I do think it's an interesting conversation to have as to like whether you think that makes a difference, the fact that this is legal in state A versus state B. I'll tell you my personal perspective on it is, assuming he was engaged in a sexual encounter with her, which he flat out denies, and he does flat out deny, and he has repeatedly flat out denied that he engaged in any sort of sexual conquest of this 17-year-old. Assuming that he's lying to us for a moment, and that he actually did, even if it's not illegal, it's gross. You can't deny it's gross. Like, what the hell are you doing with like some teenage girl? It's gross. It's gross. And that's just my personal opinion on it. And it's a 17-year-old. Obviously, 17-year-olds are some airheaded dits. Even when she's intelligent, what the hell? I mean, you're sitting there. It's a very gross thing. You're a congressman. Supposedly, he was in Congress. If he did it, and I have no knowledge at all that he did. I'm simply saying I don't like the whole defense of like, oh, well, you know, she's 17 and that's legal in some places, and maybe it was legal in the other state and not in this. Whatever. I'm simply saying, if he did it, whatever morality you think about it, I personally think it's gross. Is it something that he should be charged with? Well, I don't know. If you break the law, I can understand saying that's the law. I get it. It's that alone, standing there on its face, to me, I never would feel comfortable being like, let's whitewash this thing, because it is gross. It's gross. There's something. It's a little sick. It's sick. It's sick. It's a sick thing. And I'm not saying he did it. I'm simply saying someone who does do that, it's sick. It's sick, especially if you're a powerful person, and you know you're known. You're pretty much a political celebrity, and now you're pushing the boundaries on the age of girls that are going to be consenting to you. And there's no allegation that he forced anyone, as far as I am aware of. If there were allegations that he had forced her, that would take this up to another notch, I think, personally, as far as how the public would look at it, rather than be consensual. But at the very least, my personal opinion on this is it's gross. Now, this is where I was in 2021. And again, innocent until proven guilty. No one knows that he did it. He's flat out denying it. The whole exchange there with Tucker was very weird. It was very strange. It was unsettling. It seemed as if he was desperately trying to find someone reputable to cover for him, and doing it in public. And like he was trying to put Tucker on the spot. Like, right here, are you gonna refute me here on live TV? And Tucker was like, yeah, I'm refuting you here on live TV. It was a very weird and uncomfortable exchange, which Matt Gaetz did not look good in. He did not look good in it. Now, that being said, all that being said, it's been 4 years. I mean, what the hell's been going on? It's been 4 freaking years. So assuming he did something illegal or immoral or gross or whatever it is, it's 4 years. And we've heard nothing about this. Everything just went into the ether. to sit there in the backdrop. And now when he's on the cusp of becoming attorney general, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. What about this whole investigation? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Now is when he steps down. Now when after Trump wins, now is when we're supposed to start worrying about this. Where were you in 2021, 22, 23, all of 24? All of a sudden now we're in November. So I'm not trying to give a pass, assuming he did something illegal or even something gross. I'm not trying to give a pass to it. I'm simply saying, why is this first coming now? The timing to me seems to be very, very sus. Very, very sus. That as soon as he's making political headwaves, it almost feels as if, and I don't know if this is what's happening. I don't know what happened with the whole investigation. It almost feels as if every time he's making political headway against some person or potentially put in a position like becoming AG to make headway against persons who definitely would not want him to be able to make that headway and have success in that regard, all of a sudden, these same allegations from 2021 just start popping back up. Like it's just like boop, 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 boop. All of a sudden, oh wait. Let's get the ethics committee report out now. It's a very, very strange timing thing. Now, supposedly the ethics committee was scheduled to drop this on Friday, which is what made the timing. They're trying to portray it as, his timing of stepping out of Congress was purposeful, because there's a long-standing rule in Congress that if you're being investigated by a House committee and you are no longer in Congress, that they must cease their investigations immediately. So you can look at it and claim, well, he knew that this report was about to drop, and the reason that he stepped out that fast was for his own self, so not to help Florida or fill its seat in time for the next session of Congress, not to enable MAGA to retain a majority in the House, not for anything that was actually altruistic, but it was purely self-interest that he was stepping out in order to tie the House's hands, that they would be compelled to sit on the report. And that's why he jumped out of the race as quickly as he did. So Matt Gaetz haters are going to say, obviously, that I can hear Cenk Uygur screaming now. I haven't seen a clip of it, but I'm sure he probably has screamed, yeah, you know why? It's obvious why he's dropping out of the House. He doesn't want that report being seen. Other questions that people are raising are, could it still be made public? And there are bases to make it public, especially if he ends up sitting for a confirmation for Attorney General. If he sits and in fact, there's some pressure that's being put on Hakeem Jeffries, Hakeem Jeffries can bring an application to the House that this is in the best interest of America, or best interest of the House, to have this report released, which it seems as if Matt Gaetz likely does not want that report released. If only, if I was Matt Gaetz, if only just not to have this whole thing, all the factoids being discussed as public fodder for the next 2 months while he's awaiting and hoping confirmation, or discouraging Trump from actually going through with naming him as Attorney General, because Trump hasn't done anything official yet, obviously. Trump could change his mind and say, I don't need to deal with this headache, which would be unfortunate, because I think he could be a phenomenal Attorney General. I think he could be excellent in that role, especially if you're looking at someone who's going to be rooting out corruption. I think he has potential to be exceptional. So that is much of the landscape, but there are a few more details about this story which we should really discuss. Which is that over the last couple of days, we see that there's been new allegations. All of a sudden, 4 years later, obviously, that's the time that people are suddenly remembering just how old they were when they went for drinks with Matt Gaetz.
We start with breaking news here today. In President-elect Donald Trump's nomination of Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, ABC News is now learning exclusively that the woman who accused Gaetz of having sex with her when she was just 17 years old shared her claims in closed-door testimony before the House Ethics Committee. That is according to sources that are familiar with this investigation. Now, Gaetz has long denied these accusations. Yesterday, he stepped down from Congress following his nomination for Attorney General. Let's get now to ABC News' Jay O'Brien, who's live for us on Capitol Hill. So, Jay, this is quite stunning news here. What more are we learning here about what she potentially said in front of the House Ethics Committee?
Yeah, Kana, ABC News has learned, according to multiple sources, that the woman at the center of this investigation into Matt Gaetz for allegations of sex trafficking told the House Ethics Committee when she was interviewed by that committee that she had sex with Matt Gaetz when she was 17 years old and in high school, and Matt Gaetz was a member of the United States Congress. That, again, according to multiple sources who spoke with our Will Staken and our investigative team here at ABC News. Previously, the Department of Justice investigated these allegations of sex trafficking into Matt Gaetz. They did not bring criminal charges. Matt Gaetz has denied it.
And I want to be clear, when they talk about sex trafficking in this context, what they were referring to are that purportedly he traveled across state lines on an airplane with her, and that would be technically a violation of the Mann Act if he was bringing her across for the purposes of engaging in consensual sexual relations that would be deemed illegal in the area that he's taking her to. So if he flew a 17-year-old, let's say, from Georgia into Florida, that would be considered sex trafficking. No one has raised any allegations that he's trying to sell some poor helpless woman or anything of that nature. When you use the term sex trafficking, it has a very, very negative connotation to it, and properly so. And while that term could technically be applied to the crimes that he's been accused of by some, although never indicted, and that's an important element, that he has never been indicted in 4 years, that it's technically called sex trafficking, but it's not. Doesn't have the same gravitas. Once you actually describe the crime as someone who's, dragging some poor victim across state lines for purposes of selling her off and pimping her out to guys, which is what the term sex trafficking tends to connote. And that's obviously a very heinous act. What he did, I think almost everyone would agree, would be deemed far less heinous than that.
Any wrongdoing. And then there became this House Ethics Committee investigation into Gaetz, which looked into similar allegations. And it's over the course of that investigation.
And I want to be clear, he's saying similar investigations because there's a question as to how many girls was he purportedly involved with. Supposedly, he's a bit of a player and has had relationships with many girls of varying ages, and what their ages were, and, whether they're college age, high school age, I don't know. And these questions become very, very important when you're talking about whether or not what he did was technically a crime, even if it's whether you consider it gross or not.
ABC News has now learned that this woman in question said that Matt Gaetz had sex with her when she was 17 years old, and he was a member of Congress.
In which state? In which state? Because that's an important question, because if it was in a different state outside Florida, it might have been completely illegal.
Of course, a minor. Matt Gaetz has said on Twitter and in other posts that he never had sex with anyone under the age of 18. And again, he has denied any wrongdoing.
I am going to put a poll up in the chat. I am curious. Let's assume, take Matt Gaetz out of the question. Do you think that there's a difference on whether or not it's as to how we should look at someone depending on whether or not that state legalizes sex with a 17-year-old or makes it illegal? Let's assume we're talking about someone who's more than 4 years older. Do you think, from a morality perspective, that the governing law has an impact on whether or not that's moral? And do you think it's immoral? That's actually two different questions. I have to decide which one of those questions to really ask, don't I? One would be, is it immoral? Which one of those? And the other would be, so I think I know how I can phrase it. I'm going to put it up here. Start a poll. Is it immoral for an adult? And if he was serving in Congress, he was at least 25. How old is he? Let me check that out. I'm curious. Matt Gaetz. Date of birth. 1982. So if we're talking about 2020, so that would make him 38. Let's just assume he's 35 or older. Is it immoral for an adult to have sex for an adult? I'm just going to say 35 plus because we don't know when this happened. Sex with a 17-year-old. Yes, always. No, and then I'll have yes if the law yes, only if the law prohibits it. That's a good poll. I'm going to check the ghetto, see what you guys think. If you think it should be considered always illegal, always immoral, is it immoral to have, do you think it's immoral to have sex with a 17-year-old if you're 35 or older? And put one for yes, no, or oh for only. He's 42 now, Don Martin. He would have been like 38. He's over 35. So the girl's 17 and he's 35 plus. Do you think it's immoral for him to have consensual sexual relationship with her? Yes, no, or oh, only if it's illegal. I didn't say it's illegal. Don Mannion, you say moral's not illegal, you would think a lawyer would know that. I'm simply talking about the morality of it. I'm not talking about the illegality of it. The legality of it is pretty clear cut. Once you establish that he's had sex with her, assuming that they ever do establish that, which again, he flatly denies. My question is, do you think that it's immoral? Those are two different questions, and I purposefully asked for it. It's very easy to say, oh yeah, you know what? If it was in Florida where consensual age is 18, in that case and he was over 35 and he did the deed, he committed a crime. So that's not really a very interesting question to me. Are we talking first, second, or third cousins? That's pretty funny. And Angela's making a fair point. She's like, well, no one cared about it 4 years ago. Now they do. All of a sudden, they care about it a lot now. Gaetz Tulsi and RFK recess appointments. Tulsi won't last 6 months. She'll go independent, woman, and step down. Maybe. What's the difference between 17 and 18, 10 to 25? Nice. The dude Higgs story, the Gaetz family got caught and did time. The witness is saying she saw him and a 17-year-old. WTF? Why wait 7 years if she actually saw? The story has made zero sense from the start. Fair enough. Fair enough. Turner says the FBI investigating not charging you either means you're innocent or you were blackmailed. Well, if he was blackmailed, I expect him to change his tune on politics, but he never did. And I will tell you this. He did claim in that Tucker interview that he was being blackmailed. That's what he did claim. So again, I don't know that he ever had sex with her. Hey, Joe, I know it's off topic, but I heard you might be streaming with the Lake and Riley trial. Will you go back and watch the opening statements or try to find it somewhere else? I was thinking about doing the Lake and Riley openings tomorrow. I do plan on streaming the Lake and Riley trial on starting Monday. They had opening statements and a few witnesses on Friday. I wasn't able to stream on Friday, but I would like to pick up the trial on Monday. So maybe we'll go with that. Maybe we'll go with that. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll try to do that tomorrow. That's a good idea. Good chance. I would say very high chance. If that helps at all. If that helps at all. I don't know that it helps you, but I would say very high chance. I would be stopped if there was some sort of huge story that would break. Anyway. Hitchhiker's Guide to Potentially Releasing the Ethics Committee report on Gaetz. We should look at how this thing get released. Fox News has been told for several days now that the House Ethics Committee no longer has jurisdiction over former Representative Matt Gaetz. Gaetz resigned Wednesday after Trump picked him to serve as AG. The ethics panel is planning on releasing its report investigating allegations of sexual misconduct and alleged drug use by Gaetz. But the panel canceled its meeting Friday and no report has appeared. House Ethics Committee Chairman Michael Guest, who supposedly is a real neocon who hates Gaetz, said the following on Wednesday when asked about the Gaetz inquiry. Quote, once the investigation is complete, then a report will be issued, assuming that at that time that Mr. Gaetz is still a member of Congress. If Mr. Gaetz were to resign because he's taking a position with the administration as the AG, then the Ethics Committee loses jurisdiction at that point. Once we lose jurisdiction, there would not be a report that would be issued. That is not unique to this case. That's like standard OP. That's generally how the Ethics Committee has rolled when it comes to outstanding ethics investigations involving former members. However, it's not a hard and fast rule. This is a key thing. Fox News has found that the Ethics Committee released the findings of its probe into potential influence peddling by the late Representative John Murtha after his death in 2010. They also released a 699-page report on former Representative Bob Boner, Tennessee, after he left office in 1987. The committee found that Boner used campaign funds to travel to Hong Kong and may have used his office to influence a defense contractor. That said, there's a way on the floor to dislodge an ethics committee report. There's a device called Question of Privileges of the House. A lawmaker could get to the floor under this procedure, make the argument that keeping the Gaetz ethics report under wraps impugns the dignity and integrity of the House. The House would be required to vote on such a motion. If successful on the floor, the ethics panel would be compelled to release the report. Yours truly, which is the author here. Who's the author? Chad Pergram. Chad Pergram asked Hakeem Jeffries about this on Friday, if Democrats might try to dislodge the Gaetz report from the Ethics Committee. Pergram said, could you envision a scenario where Democrats try to somehow dislodge this ethics report through a parliamentary maneuver? Jeffries said, the Ethics Committee is an incredibly bipartisan committee. It's the only committee in the House that's very evenly divided and has a long history of having principled individuals on it. And I defer at this moment to whatever course they decide to take, and I hope they take a course that is bipartisan. So, I'm a politician, is basically what he said. I'm a uniparty politician. That's what Jeffries is saying here. I'm very much a uniparty politician. So, I don't want to give an answer on this, and other people will make that decision, so I don't have to weigh in here. So there you go. There you go on that. That's what I have on that story. Let me see where my vote is at. I'm curious. 56% of you say yes. 237 votes so far. While you're up there voting, if you hit like and subscribe, I'd be most obliged. 56% say yes always, 22% say no, 21% saying yes only if local law prohibits it. So the majority of you think it's always immoral. But immoral is not illegal. It does raise questions, though, if you consider it immoral, whether that makes him the right person for AG, whether some could legitimately raise a question saying, I think it's immoral. So if that House ethics report gets released, it doesn't, it probably, and they come out in that report that they find that he did engage in it, in sexual relationship with a 17-year-old, that could certainly harm his chances. That could certainly harm his chances. Frankly, between you and me, even if I'd be very, I'm really hoping he makes it in as AG. I'd like to see him in that role. And the fact that they sat on this for 4 years and now they're saying all of a sudden now, oh, well, the woman came forward. She came forward. And I'm like, what the hell's happening here? What the hell is happening here? Where's that report that you shared with me? Is it here? Let's talk about Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and engaging in a recount now of their votes. We take a quick look over at Pennsylvania.
Hello, can I please speak?
I want to. If we look at the Senate vote over in Pennsylvania, yeah. Dave McCormick holding a 17,000 vote lead after there was a new influx of votes in Pennsylvania. 95% of votes in. He's got a 17,000 vote lead, and Pennsylvania has called for a recount, which is now undergoing. And while they're engaging in this recount, there's questions about which ballots should be counted in the recount. Excuse me. Now I got the hiccups. That's never good. Let me tell you, if you're a podcaster, your goal is to avoid getting the hiccups. That clearly fixed it. Obviously. So we have here Dave McCormick has a 17,000 vote lead. And then there are questions as to which votes should be counted. Here is
your motion is to reject.
Bucks County Commissioner Office trying to talk about whether or not they're going to count votes that are potentially illegal. I've watched this clip, at least this first part. I haven't seen this lengthier clip that Shiloh shared with me. It's a little confusing to me, the context as to what happened in the conversation right before this, which I really wish I could see. I really wish I could see so I can understand exactly what precipitated this conversation. But the discussion here is being shared around on social media is that this is the group in Bucks County, which is overseeing the recount there. And this happened.
Categories of these ballots.
Your motion is to reject or dismiss the challenges in this category in front of you.
So the motion is to reject or dismiss the ballots in this category. And listen to what this blondie says here.
Correct. Yep.
Not going to second that, mostly because I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
What the hell you say?
If Trump attempts to weaponize the justice system against his political opponents with Matt Gaetz at the helm.
Oh, so that clip there was what I don't know if there's any more to this clip coming up here, but and what we're about to see, I was hoping this was a lengthier clip of that actual meeting, but she basically seemed like she was saying, I don't care what the law is, we're going to count what we decide to count. It doesn't matter what the law is, whether there's signature issues or date issues that preclude us from counting it. The law doesn't seem like something that we necessarily have to follow because I see other people breaking the law, so I'm able to break the law also, which sounds insane and retarded. I'm not going to kid you.
We could see incoming Senator Adam Schiff as our shadow attorney general, arguing against replacing our independent prosecutors with Trump loyalists. If Trump seeks to eliminate the Department of Education, Congresswoman Johanna Hayes, a former Teacher of the Year, could step up as shadow education secretary to loudly defend public education in the United States. If Trump orders Marco Rubio to hand Ukraine and much of Eastern Europe to Russian President Vladimir Putin, Congressman Greg Meeks, as Shadow Secretary of State, could be a strong voice in support of maintaining international relationships and protecting democracy at home and abroad. Senator Michael Bennet as Shadow Treasury Secretary.
I don't know what the heck is happening here. I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know who this is. This is someone talking about a shadow cabinet. I don't know what the hell this even means. So I'm sorry. I'm very confused by what I'm watching here. Other than it seems like it's a compilation of people basically saying how they're just going to flout what the law says. Jack Pozo was sharing with respect to that Bucks County issue. And this is the woman who's counting illegal ballots in Bucks County. She's the one who wrote on November 4, 2023, the integrity of the Bucks County Board of Commissioners hangs in the balance as we move closer to the 2024 election. Voters must prevent anyone with ties to the MAGA movement from overseeing this critical electoral process. This is her right here. Gunther Eagleman saying, hey, you're going to prison, which I already give a like to that. A lot of folks angry at her. A lot of folks angry at her. It was a pretty stupid thing for her to say out loud, that's for sure. So what's happening in Bucks County? I don't know. I can't figure out what's going to happen with that count. I can't figure out anything that's happening there. That's one of the reasons I didn't make it like a featured story, because I was like, I don't know what to say about this other than they're doing a recount. And there's one woman there who's in Bucks County. This is one of the critical counties. Well, I guess every county is critical if you're talking about potential fraud. Who's basically saying, who's a Trump hater, who's basically screaming, we'll count whatever we want to count. Because, yeah, they care about democracy and the rule of law. It's very important to them. Very important. The U.S. House of Representative Wiley Nichols. Oh, that's who you're telling me. Oh, so you're saying that they're threatening. You want me to go back to that? Is that what you're trying to? You see, like, Joe, give more credit to me. Joe. I saw they definitely sat on at least since 2020. I don't know if it's 2017, but at least since 2020. The more further back you go, I don't know that he was a member of the House even. I thought he came in 2017. And that's certainly true. That's certainly true. All right. I feel like I'm watching something. I don't know what I'm watching here. I don't know what I'm watching. Damn it.
Loudly defend public education in the United States. If Trump orders Marco Rubio to hand Ukraine and much of Eastern Europe to Russian President Vladimir Putin, Congressman Greg Meeks, as Shadow Secretary of State, could be a strong voice in support of maintaining international relationships and protecting democracy at home and abroad.
It's demanding.
Senator Michael Bennet as Shadow Treasury Secretary, and Congresswoman Susan Del Bene as Shadow Commerce Secretary, could help ensure the middle class and small businesses have a voice in government and call out Trump's proposed tax cuts for billionaires and corporations. As Shadow Defense Secretary, Congressman Adam Smith, a great representative for the people of Washington and not a Fox News host, could counter Trump's threat to use military force against his political opponents and work to ensure that the Department of Defense stays loyal to the Constitution and not some wannabe dictator. And Senator Tammy Duckworth could argue against cuts to the Department of Veterans Affairs that would delay the benefits and care our service members have so rightly earned. If Trump hands over the
you can all blame
EPA to
Shiloh.
big oil ally
You can all
Lee
blame
Zeldin,
Shiloh.
we could see Congresswoman Kathy Castor pushing back for environmental protection and conservation to protect the air we breathe and the water we drink. And if Trump pushes to ban abortion nationwide, Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro could step in as Shadow Secretary of Health and Human Services.
That's what I was thinking also.
To defend women's right to choose and argue against the gutting of Medicare by Trump and his cronies. Mr. Speaker, new times require new solutions.
So he's basically some lunatic who thinks like, oh, okay, it's time for sedition.
The shadow cabinet isn't just about opposing extreme MAGA attacks on our government. It's also about making clear what we stand for, not just what we're...
Yeah, you stand for being a bozo, basically. That's what you stand for. That's what you stand for. Okay, any questions? Did we cover that? This isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I wanted. This isn't even what I wanted. Where are you? Damn it. Now I can't even find the damn thing I was looking for. Now I'm getting confused. Damn it. I moved you over here. That's what happened. It was in the way. Can I talk to you all about the whole Holterman thing? Can I talk to you about Whoopi Goldberg? Can I get to the Whoopi Goldberg story? Do we spend enough time? Do I need to have a call in talking to you all about whether or not there's something wrong with a 35-year-old? Whether it's like, here's the thing. I'm not gonna be like, well, because he's MAGA, I'm just gonna be like, give a total pass to a 35-year-old having sex with a 17-year-old, assuming he actually had. And I don't know that he had, but it does seem like this investigation is going on for a long time. And I sort of feel like I'm giving air to their claims by saying this. I just don't like saying I feel uncomfortable with the idea of just dismissing a claim because I don't want it to be true. I'll be honest enough with you to tell you, I don't want it to be true. I want him to not have done these things, and that he can just go in there, serve as AG, and kick uniparty ass. That's what I want. I want him to expose the deep state. I don't want him to go after them. And I want him to not have done these things that they're saying that he did. But for me to just pretend that these allegations are not out there, there's zero legitimacy to them, that I never had any concerns about their legitimacy, especially, frankly, I'm not going to kid you. The legitimacy was baked in for me to some degree based on that weird exchange with Tucker Carlson. That weird exchange with Tucker Carlson made me be like, I don't know what the hell's happening here. I don't know what the hell's happening here. But again, the DOJ hasn't gone after him. They likely would have, and they have gone after, and there is, there has been some legitimacy to the point that it was just a blackmail attempt. So maybe it was. He comes from a wealthy family. It's very possible that they were trying to blackmail him. Who knows? Who the hell knows? I wanted to the whole incident with Tucker, to just dismiss that as nothing. I don't think that's being genuine with you. I don't think, and here's what I learned. One of the things I learned is that the disingenuousness, disingenuity, just not being genuine, not being real, doesn't help the person you're trying to give cover to. All it does is it just destroys your own credibility. So I've raised questions about this in the past when that Tucker interview dropped, and for me to also pretend that never happened, right? I didn't have those concerns, I think is not fair to you. So at some point I had those concerns. Really, the biggest reason that I don't have those concerns is because they're so ancient. And I'm like, something would have happened if there was some legitimacy to it, you would think. But I feel at the same time, I feel uncomfortable saying 100% nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel very weird saying that. Like, I feel like I'm giving a pass to someone who really might have done something like that. And again, it does feel different when it's consensual versus it's just very gross. The whole topic is very gross. He's protected by the speech and debate clause. Well, they say that there are bases for them to get it out there, though. Let's talk about Whoopi Goldberg. Let's talk about Whoopi. This is what Whoopi did. Such a bitch. For her birthday, she basically decided, let me bully some third party and step up onto a victim platform. Happy birthday to me. I'm a victim all over. I'm a victim all over again. Her stupid voice.
Welcome back. My birthday dessert today was one of my mom's favorites from when she was a kid. And she talked about these all the time. They're called Charlotte Russe. And it's a sponge cake with whipped cream and a cherry on top. Now, I should tell you, Charlotte Russe has no political leanings. And the place that made these refused to make them for me.
Oh, they refused to make them for me.
Really? Yes.
What? Oh,
no.
Look at this comedian here spitting it out right away. They refused to make them for you, Fukui.
No. Let me explain. They said that their ovens had gone down, all kinds of stuff, but folks went and got them anyway, which is why I'm not telling you who made them. But
everyone knew it was a bakery in Staten Island called Holtermans.
Can't be.
Which has been around since Rutherford B. Hayes was president in 1870s.
Because I'm a woman, but perhaps they did not like my politics. Yeah. But that's okay, because you know what?
See, this is perhaps.
Listen, this is my mother's celebration.
Yeah,
Pick these up and celebrate with me and my mom. Thank you, everyone, for celebrating my birthday today. I want you all to have a great day. Take a little time to enjoy the view and never let folks get you down. Yeah.
What a bitch. What a bully. What a bitch. Well, that was her report. She wisely did not name the bakery. That was a wise move on her part. And she, well, let's hear the other story from Scott Lebedo, who's got a message for Whoopi Goldberg. This guy makes me laugh so hard. He's such a classic Italian.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Everything about him is so Italian.
I'm talking to you. First of all, I want to give all you folks out there a big round of applause for not listening to the bullshit of these self-absorbed fucking celebrities.
How has he not been in some mafia TV series or something yet? This guy is amazing. Everything about him is awesome.
$10 million for Beyonce to go. Kamala, but Orange Man Bed, all of them. Bruce Springsteen, all the way down the line. Thank you, people out there, for stopping the stupidity and listening to these fucking entertainers. They sing, they dance, they act. That's it. Shut the fuck up and do your job. Thank you for making that possible. Whoopi, while we're on a subject, did you hear what this fat ass slobby see you next Tuesday just said yesterday? Today on The View? trying to dismantle, trying to bury a 100-year-old legendary business here in Staten Island, a mom and pop, unbelievable, loving family business, Holtermans Bakery, because this piece of shit, Whoopi, didn't get her cupcakes in time. So she's claiming that it's racism, that it's because she's liberal. Let me tell you something. I know the family. They'll sell cupcakes to John Wayne Gacy and Ted Bundy. It's business. They don't have any political fucking affiliation with it. It's big. So the reason you didn't get your cupcakes, fat ass, is because the building's 100 years old. And the boiler breaks down every now and then. The ovens go out. We've been ordering from there for 1,000 years up there. It's happened. Oh, no worries. We'll be back next week for some of your delicious goodies. Whoopi, you need to make a public fucking apology.
Who is this guy? This is Scott Lebedo. Scott Lebedo. I don't know where you find him, but he's great.
From there for 1,000 years up there. It's happened. Oh, no worries. We'll be back next week for some of your delicious goodies. Whoopi, you need to make a public fucking apology. I'm telling you right now. Okay? Because I'm going to call everybody who sees your fat ass walking down the street. And obviously everybody sees you because you ain't one to be missed. Speaking of, you, Toots, must have one of those weird circus mirrors in your house because you're the last person who should be ordering cupcakes. Anybody that sees this piece of shit walking down the street, I want you to peacefully yet verbally exercise your First Amendment right to let this fucking see you next Tuesday know where the fuck she can go. And any of you folks that are still watching ABC, that has The View on, that has this fucking nasty self-hating piece of shit on there, you could go with Whoopi and fuck yourself too.
Scott is great. So that's the unofficial response from the Holterman family. That's not the official response from the Holterman family, but we should check that out too. So let's check this out here from the more official response from the Holterman family.
What's happening? Whoopi Goldberg causing problems for a bakery, and now a Staten Island bureau president is speaking. Let's watch.
And I think the bottom line here is after we're going to call up Jill, who has had to endure something that she shouldn't have to endure. These people are up at 3 or 4 o'clock every morning. The sacrifices they've made, the holidays they've missed with their families. To make Staten Island better, they have sacrificed for 145 years. Rutherford B. Hayes was the president of the United States, for God's sakes. And they're still here, and they're still strong, and they're not going anywhere, despite what other people on television have to say. And frankly, the people who defamed the Holterman family should apologize to the Holterman family for making stuff up to suit their needs. Not everybody wakes up every day and thinks about politics. A good business person doesn't care about anybody's politics. So with that, I'd like to call up Jill Holterman Bowers. She deserves 110% support. Jill, come on.
It's a community that I have to tell you, I'm so overwhelmed by the support between finding out yesterday this even happened, getting phone calls, and then people coming in, people from all over just supporting us in every way. We had phone calls yesterday from Alabama. Guy says, I'm going to give you $50. Send it to a school. Send them donuts. Send them cupcakes.
We'll talk about this in a minute.
The support has been so overwhelming, and I know how hard my family has worked to keep this business alive. And I wish my father was here today to see this. He would never believe it. My bakers come in 2 or 3 in the morning just to have donuts and rolls for everybody to come in and say, we have the best rolls ever. And you know what? It took my whole family. It takes everybody, the community that comes every day to see us. We have this everyday conversation with everybody. How's the family? How's this? This is what makes Holtermans Holtermans. It's the community. It's my fellow everything that come out and us giving back to the community that makes this go round. And if it wasn't for you and Staten Island to make this work, we still wouldn't be here today.
Yep.
So I know my brother, Billy, work hard. Joe, my baker in the back, is here 6 days a week. He gives his heart and soul to this place. And you know what? My father always said, you do what you love. I'm telling you, this is my heart. And I thank you so much for everybody come out and support us with the Holterman family. It means the world to me. It really does. Thank you so much. Oh, my father is here today.
Oh, good. So good. The goodness prevails. And just a little background for those who know, they had a boiler here. Again, it's been here 145 years. They had a boiler that was 60 or 70 years old. And the first week in November, guess what? It went on the fritz. They had to be replaced. And the reputation of Holtermans is impeccable. So rather than commit to something they couldn't guarantee, they said we can't do it. And the person who besmirched and defamed them took that as an insult to her. Well, get over it. This family will be here for, God willing, another 145 years. And as Jill said, it's her family, it's the Staten Island community, it's the elected officials. And I hope if you're watching this across the country, go online and order something. And
Well, there you go. That's the Holterman Bakery. If you want to go order from them, I can't profess to whether or not it's kosher. It probably is not. But they are a family-owned business. So who was besmirched by Whoopi. Now, the question some of you may be having is, do they have a case for defamation? Well, let's listen to what Whoopi said very carefully. Ask yourself, would there be a case for defamation? Now, often you'll hear about such things as, whether there is actual malice or not. Over here, the Holtermans are likely not considered a public figure. Certainly not in the way that this is being presented. I would not assume that they would be considered a public figure just because they have a business. So there would not be a need for actual malice. You would need to say there has to be a statement of fact. This is what we should be looking for when we're looking through this. We'll look at this like an attorney would look at this case if this case was brought into their office. You need a statement of fact alleging something that's derogatory. The statement has to be false, not a statement of opinion, and there has to that false statement has to cause damages. Do they have a case here or not? All right. Let's listen to what she says.
Welcome back. My birthday dessert today was one of my mom's favorites from when she was a kid. And she talked about these all the time. They're called Charlotte Russe. And it's a sponge cake with whipped cream and a cherry on top. Now, I should tell you, Charlotte Russe has no political leanings. And the place that made these.
So the first thing is she doesn't identify the name of the place. She says the place that made these. So let's assume, for purposes of trying to strengthen the plaintiff's case here, and here would be the Holtermans versus Whoopi Goldberg and or ABC News. Let's assume that it's clearly identifiable somehow here, even though they never say the name of the Holtermans. Let's assume that the public at large can figure out that they are talking about Holtermans Bakery, which is an assumption that's not necessarily true. But let's assume that they could.
Refuse to make them for me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What? Oh,
No.
Is that true or is it not true? Well, they did refuse to make it for her. She had her staff going there probably by individual. What I can piece together from this whole thing is she said, my staff went in there and bought it for me, which likely means they weren't taking orders that someone says, I want to order 100 Russe cupcakes or whatever it is, but that's I want to order 100 Charlotte Russes, but they went in there and they saw that they had a whole window full of Charlotte Russes, and the person who went in there to buy it said, okay, let me take 100 of those, and they basically sold it that way, as opposed to taking a pre-ordered thing, because normally I would assume if a bakery is going to take a pre-order, they're going to make that special for the ordering customer and then keep their normal display amount out there for customers who just, wander on into the store. So what happened was they decided, okay, instead of making it as an order, we're gonna wander on into the store, and that's how they end up getting the cupcakes for the set.
No, let me explain. They said that their ovens had gone down.
So they probably said their boilers are going out, and she forgot. That doesn't really seem to change much about what they're saying, but that they had some sort of on-site issue.
Kinds of stuff, but folks went and got them anyway.
Now, when she says this part, folks went and got them anyway, that implies that they were lying to her. That's an implication. That's a fair implication. It's like, because when I heard her saying this, I was like, oh, so they were lying to you when they said that their ovens were on the fritz, because they clearly were not on the fritz.
Which is why I'm not telling you who made them. But can't be because I'm a woman, but perhaps they did not like my politics.
Yeah. Perhaps they did not like my politics. Is that a statement of fact? I think you're going to struggle to say that that's a statement of fact. She's clear to me. If I was her counsel, I'd be like, this is clearly speculation on her part. It's a statement of opinion that perhaps they did not like my my politics.
But that's okay, because you know what? Listen, this is my mother's celebration.
Yes.
Pick these up and celebrate with me and my mom.
So if I had to answer this if I got this, I was sitting in a law exam. I'll tell you right now, if I was sitting in a law exam, I would break this down, and this was part of a whole lengthy fact pattern, and this was a statement exactly word for word as she said it here. I personally would say that, I would raise the questions of fact that I've raised to you here, and then I would come out and say, I don't think that's a statement of fact. That's my personal take. I don't think that's a statement of fact, and a statement of opinion, even if it's completely wrong, is not defamatory. So, in the part she said they refused to order they sell me, that's truthful. Holtermans will admit that they refused to sell her in taking her order, and that they told her that they had some sort of problem. Now, there's a problem with their facility. Now, the problem with the facility is she got that wrong. That was an inaccurate statement of fact that perhaps they never said to her, but that part of itself is not defamatory. Let's say they actually had said boiler, and she's lying and says, hey, they told me it was their ovens, but really it was a boiler problem. So, and she's lying when she said that, and she's lying when she said they told me it was their ovens, and that they really did tell her boilers. The conversation as it happens is Holtermans, hello, this is Holtermans. Yeah, we'd like to make an order for 100 Charlotte Roosters for the View. Oh, well, we're not taking any orders. Sorry, we have a problem with our boiler, and we're not going to take it down. That's the way they click. The conversation, and they end the conversation there. Then Whoopi goes on air and says they said they had a problem with their ovens. Well, that's not true. It wasn't. They didn't make a statement about the ovens. They made a statement about their boilers. But is changing that defamatory? Doesn't seem like that's a derogatory thing, that there's a problem with their ovens versus there being a problem with the boilers. So that part of the statement doesn't seem like it's derogatory. And since it's not derogatory, that statement of they said there was a problem with their ovens is not defamation. So then you have to look into the statement of they didn't sell it to me because of my politics. And again, when she says that, she goes, perhaps when she throws in that qualifier of perhaps, it certainly seems to take it out of the realm of a statement of fact and bring it into the realm of a statement of opinion, that she's reflecting as to what it was, as to, as opposed to saying they told me they wouldn't sell it to me because of my politics. Let's assume she had worded this a little bit more directly and said they said they wouldn't sell it to me because of my politics, and that was a lie. That could be derogatory. Probably is derogatory. Perhaps it's illegal for them to if you sell someone on the basis of their politics. I don't know if that would be illegal. If it were illegal, that would make it more of a derogatory thing. There is a commercial expectation that you're going to sell to everyone. But anyway, my point here is, if you are the potential plaintiff Holtermans here in this case, I think you got a tough road to hoe because the best thing you have as far as derogatory statement is the issue as far as the political, and she did qualify it with perhaps, and that helps the view. And Whoopi, unfortunately, because she's an evil. None of this is to dismiss the fact that she's an evil bitch. I mean, she is. She's just an evil bitch. She's a terrible human being. She's a disgrace to humanity. She's a predator and she's a bully, and she certainly looks like a clown for bitching about this on her stupid birthday show. And it's her party. She'll cry if she wants to. But I don't think that there's defamation here, personally. I think it's a very tough defamation case. That's my personal take on it. Just telling you as it is. I wish they can sue him for millions of dollars. I just don't see it. They're now admitting they want to shadow government. Bucks County defying Pennsylvania Supreme Court. I don't think they're going to get away with that, though. I don't think they're going to get away with that. I went to my local aquarium and asked for 1,000 octopus. They turned me down, but they still sold one octopus. The people came behind me. She's a clown. She's an idiot. But she was shrewd enough to couch it as this is her opinion. And likely that helps a lot. The stand on an 8% Republican jury would convict anyhow. That's an interesting thought. Maybe. If you can survive a motion to dismiss, you'd need to survive a motion to dismiss. But definitely helps. Definitely helps. Not going to kid you. Speaking of clowns, let me just check and make sure I didn't miss anything over in the ghetto. The ghetto's not whining at me. I'm good here. Let me check over my locals, make sure I didn't miss anything in locals, so local diggers aren't mad at me. It's my diggers, my lifeblood. You're my lifeblood. Your diggers are happy? Rocky Water says, sorry, we can't comment about an ongoing investigation that we're keeping open for decades in case we need it someday. That's exactly what the Matt Gaetz situation feels like. 100%. 110%. Very, very much so. Very, very much so. So anyhow, speaking of clowns, apparently this happened in Columbus, Ohio over the weekend.
Y'all done? Y'all ain't done, are you? White pants are bigger! Yeah. Bigger! White pants are bigger! Hell down, bigger! Why y'all hiding y'all's faces? Why you hiding your faces? Don't hide your face. Don't hide your face. Keep going. Don't stop. Where they going?
How many things do you see wrong with this? How many things do you see wrong with this? Feds paid perfectly. Too organized. Glowies. Oh yeah, these are all feds. 100%. 100% all feds. What's the tell? Because we need to learn, how do we know when they're feds? How do we know when they're feds?
Look at them, scared to show their faces. Man, there's some racial shit, bro.
Number one, none of them seem to have any hand tattoos. All of them are covering up parts of the body where they would see their tattoos. None of them seem to have hand tattoos, and I'm having a hard time believing you can get together 10 KKK folks, 10 neo-Nazis who have no tattoos on their hands. Yeah, they all look freaking buff. Almost every one of them, except for one really skinny dude who looks like he needs to hit the gym.
All done?
No fatties here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Where's the drunken
Come to
boozing
that shit at
crowd?
nighttime.
No one heard about this rally happening. You would think they would be posting it. Hey, come join us.
Come to that shit at night.
They all got their color coordinated. We're all color coordinated with our flags. What? What? We're color coordinated with our flags? We're all wearing the same thing? We're all wearing the same freaking thing. We're all fit.
Nighttime. Come back at nighttime.
No fatties.
You hear this shit, bro?
We're color coordinated in these expensive outfits. You know, what the hell is happening here? Like all of a sudden, neo-Nazis had some private fundraiser. Hey, we need to have the best color coordinated neo-Nazi rally in history, with a whole bunch of folks who look like they could kick the ever living snout out of any crowd who ever lived. They look like the fittest. They would beat the hell out of the Blitzkrieg. They look like they would just like march out to them. They look so much fitter than any Nazis I've ever seen. It's ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world.
No, don't go. They got guns
With their stupid looking combat boots,
on them, bro. You heard me?
black and red.
Bro. Yeah, come out and do that shit.
They have all these identical flags. They're out there marching.
Come do that shit.
And they're just trying to stir up. This is paid for by your dollars. Your dollars are paying for this. That's what's happening here. Your dollars are paying for these. They're at work now. They're getting paid for this. All of them covering their faces. All of them are too embarrassed to show their faces. Really? Really? With the same stupid mask? Really? That's color coordinated with the flag? It's even the same shade of red. I mean, come on. How do they manage to do that? I am so thrilled that for 4 years, we're not going to see this. This is not going to happen in a Kash Patel.
Y'all done?
We're not going to see any of this nonsense of let's pretend that Nazis are a big problem in 2024. We're not going to see this in a Kash Patel FBI, assuming he ends up taking it. God hope. Still waiting on that announcement. I don't know what's taking so long. Trump, what's taking so long? Why can't we get an announcement that Kash Patel is the head of the FBI? Because I cannot imagine a Kash Patel FBI wasting money. Hopefully the Doge will look into this. Like, where are you wasting your money, feds? Oh, it's in black ski masks and Nazi flags. This is the first thing that the Doge should be cutting. Whatever budget America's FBI is spending on Nazi flags, that should be cut. That's the first thing the Doge should be cutting from its budget. The Nazi flag budget. We got to trim that sucker way on down to zero. Way on down to zero. There ain't no reason that the FBI should be having these black and red flags and paying 10 people to go marching down the street like this. That's how this gets exposed. This is how Elon and Vivek can help expose this, because they hopefully should have access to all the financials, and we can actually. I want to see this whole thing be exposed of like, oh yeah, that whole operation cost the FBI $800,000 to march down the street in flags in Columbus on November 17th. That would be a nice thing to see. Just expose what utter crap this is. Whole bunch of they thems.
Come do that shit at nighttime. Come do that shit at nighttime. Come back at nighttime.
I guess they're funny.
You hear this shit, bro? No, don't go. They got guns on them, bro. You heard me? Bro. Yeah, come out and do that shit. I ain't still done. I got work.
Yeah. It's to cleanse the palate of that. To cleanse the palate of that, I'm going to share something with you which I found to be funny. Could be my sense of humor, could be whatever. I can't explain what this is. This is, I'm going to call this a palate cleanser. Don't ask me what the hell this is. This is, I think, is a real commercial from like the 1980s. This is a real commercial from the 1980s. Before we get into Alex Jones, This is a real commercial from the 1980s. It was a very different age. I'm just going to say this. It was a very, very different age.
What's up, nigga? You wanna talk some shit? Call me. Start some shit, bitch. Sup, fool? You gonna talk shit about me, homie? Where you from?
$4.99 a minute. We used to have these where you could like call and pay $4.99 a minute. And this is an advertisement that if you want to talk smack with someone, you can pay $4.99 a minute and have people talk smack at you.
Hundreds of niggas is waiting for your motherfucking call, and they all talking shit about you right now. You wanna sell that shit? Call these motherfuckers ASAP. Yeah, I said some shit. What? Man, fuck you and your bone spurs. The hardest niggas is standing by, ready to pick up that phone. Buff niggas. Dark niggas. Asian niggas. White niggas.
Suck my dick, bitch. Fuck you.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This is dork. Buff. Dork. Oh my god.
1213-373-4253. Just dial, nigga. I'll fuck you up. Deaf niggas. Just 1213-373-4253. Just dial, nigga. I'll fuck you up. Deaf niggas. Classic niggas. Racist niggas. Mystery niggas.
I would like the mystery. Yeah.
Psycho niggas. Dog niggas. Jewish niggas.
You got some motherfucking nerds calling me out Shabbat on some little bullshit ass nigga. Better calm that shit down and come around here and show me some fucking respect before me and my Jewish nigga come up here and beat your ass, nigga. Off top.
Niggas talking shit. Calm now.
$4.99 per minute.
Oh my god. That's genius. Asian nigga. Jewish one. You got some effing nerve calling me on Shabbat. Oh my god. That is so good. That is so good. I almost opened with that. I was like, I think people would just be confused as hell. Confused. I should have introduced that as, and now a word from our sponsor. That reminds me, this is a good time for a word from our sponsor. I'm totally going to use that. Oh my God. Where was I? All right. Let's get into Infowars and what the heck is happening with them. I think it's time we should do that. First, let me get a couple of these here. Knock these off here. Heard Trump can't fire Ray, needs to resign himself. That's not exactly true. That's not exactly true. I'm very curious about that. He does sign a 5-year contract. I'm very curious about that. Suppose his contract runs in 2026. I'm not sure. I don't know. AC drafting. Hitting. 50. God bless you. D's nuts. Not sure what's happening. I just got here. Hello, chat. Let's get some followers. Oh, you are the man. Matt Skinner comes in. God bless you with 20. Count them, 20 good Lord new members to the following. God bless you. Oh my God. You came in right there. You scroll back just like a minute and a half. You'll see what that was. And who did he bring into the following? He brought in here Jozilla, Peter Keys, Garrett Pace, Black Dragon, Sally Shires, FLDB, Juju Queen. Each of you should be expressing your gratitude to Matt Skinner for gifting you with a member to the following, as well as Teresa Shirk, Royce, Buckfutter, Chef Noel, Now What Lefty, Donald Young, Lisa Daniel, Dawn, Ben Leach, Jana Bell, Thomas Lambert, Chris Sawyer, and George Catalano. All you welcome to the following. The following is obviously not at all a cult. Type of cult. I am not the leader of the following. I'm just your host. Just a host. Following is about greater personal growth. What more could you be asking for? Please do not stab yourself or engage in any sort of self-harm or harming of others because you're a new member of the following. There's mild farm work. There's no mandatory tracksuits. No Kool-Aid, no spaceships, no throwing virgins into volcanoes, no dancing around fires while shucking off clothing. It's just not at all a cult. Type of cult. Oh, God. All right. Let's talk. I do need to thank you again, Matt Skinner. You were awesome. Let's talk about Alex Jones. Alex Jones. Alex Jones was talking the other day about how he had concerns. About what was happening with respect to liquidation of his company Infowars. As you're all aware, he's been hit with judgment based on the Sandy Hook thing. He's actually got two different judgments. One's in Connecticut, one's in Texas. He's filed for bankruptcy because he got hit with $1.5 billion. Ridiculous number. Just an obscene, stupid, crazy number. Honestly, if he had gone in there and shot those kids up himself, I don't think he would have been hit with $1.5 billion. It's insanity. They really, it's crazy. Anyhow. So the other day he was talking about his concerns that he was being shut down. And he said that his company had been bought purportedly by the Onion, but he was questioning the legitimacy of the sale. And he was saying, I don't think the sale was legitimate. There was lack of transparency. And the Onion certainly seems like that, which is a well-known periodical that used to engage in satire, seemed to be purchasing it for the purpose of they've gone complete full woke, like retard levels of woke. As of 15 years ago or so. Certainly very little positive since Obama was elected. And so they purchased, supposedly in some sort of secret deal, they purchased Infowars. Here is Alex Jones responding to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:50 right now.
That's what they call it. His rant about the deep state. That's what they call it. As if the deep state is like a very, like as if you have to say deep state in quotations, as if there's no real deep state, even though George Stephanopoulos was like, oh, there is a deep state, but they're good people. The very independent TV calls it deep state as if this is some sort of mythical figure. It's kind of ridiculous.
About to upload this to X. I just got word 15 minutes ago that my lawyers and folks met with the U.S. trustee over our bankruptcy this morning, and they said they're shutting us down even without a court order. This morning, the Connecticut Democrats with the Onion newspaper bought us. they asked, did they outbid? They said, well, it was competitive. So they changed all the bidding rules, made it secret 2 days ago. I had a bad feeling. I told you that.
I don't remember him saying deep state anywhere.
And just like they tried to shut us down back in late May without a court order, they're supposed to have a court order. There's going to be injunctions filed. I'm about to go live out of Harrison's American Journal studio. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to be here until they come in here and turn the lights off. I'm going to say, where's your court order? So this is all going down right now. They want to silence the American people, but we're not going to be silenced. Be sure and follow me at the Alex Jones Network at AJN Live on X right now. They're filed in court to take real Alex Jones away. That's totally unconstitutional. The judge already said no, so they filed in other courts. So the live feed going up by the time you see this at AJN Live and at Real Alex Jones right now. Share this everywhere. This is a total attack on free speech. The deep state is completely out of control.
Oh, he does say deep state there at the end there. And it is, let's face it, that they're basically saying, let's shut down Alex Jones. And the reason they're shutting him down is because, A, he is so often right in what he calls out about government corruption and the deep state. B, the dude has more talent than me and my peers put together. He's just ridiculously talented individual, both as far as being informative, entertaining. He's an amazing thought leader who rallies people together in ways that are very powerful. He's he's uniquely talented, and he's broken a lot of stories. And they took that one Sandy Hook story and basically used it as a way that they're hoping that they can destroy him and ultimately silence him. The sale of Infowars is a very murky thing. And the question is, what is the value of Infowars when you have a company where its value, its intrinsic value, is in its ability to have its featured performer continue performing? When you buy a company, it's not based on what it produced in the past, but what you're expecting it to produce in the future. But what the hell could Infowars produce in the future? Now, it has established some sort of name recognition that does have a value baked into it, even if Alex Jones were to retire and leave Infowars. So there is some sort of name value to Infowars, but the bulk of the value of an Infowars certainly lays in its founder and creator still continuing to work there. Clearly, they would not have the capacity under the law to compel him to work there, because it's against public policy to force someone to work in a place they don't want to work. So no one can force him to continue working there. He can continue producing content under himself individually, or more likely, as he's indicated, under Alex Jones Network, which I've heard him refer to as also American Journalist Network, which both of them would be AJN. So that's a convenient name for making for making an acronym out of it. But he was talking about switching over to the Alex Jones Network and saying that they're disputing the legitimacy of that sale, saying that was not a proper sale under bankruptcy law. You might think that he's ranting and he's raving and he's bitter and he's upset, but he's not alone in reaching that conclusion. In fact, it seems that there's a judge who's questioning the legitimacy of that sale, and it's the judge who's overseeing his bankruptcy. It's like, I don't know what the hell is happening here, but this has me concerned. This was on Thursday, he reported. This came out of Texas. Angry judge questions transparency of Onion bid for Infowars. A frustrated bankruptcy judge said he has concerns over the process in which satirical news site The Onion won an auction for right-wing provocateur Alex Jones Infowars website, saying he was dissatisfied with the transparency of the sale process. Judge Christopher M. Lopez said Thursday that he will hold a hearing next week to hear concerns and possibly approve the sale of the Infowars assets to the satirical news website owners. Quote, I personally don't care who wins the auction, Lopez said. I care about the process and transparency. Lopez said the upcoming hearing will determine whether advisors running the Infowars action ran a full and fair process. Bidders were required to submit their highest and best offer for Infowars, but the value of the offers weren't shared with rivals, which is weird. You would think you would want them, oh, okay, you're going to go to 3.5 million, I'll go to 3.7. Oh, you're going to 3.7? Well, I'll 3.5 to 3.9. Like that's, we all seen auctions. We know how those work, and transparency tends to help. Lopez said that meant other potential buyers didn't know what they were bidding against. Now, I will say this. There is some sort of value that you feel like, hey, if I have a closed bidding, maybe someone will just blow everyone out. So I can't tell you that full transparency is always the best way to maximize the return. But that the lack of the publicity of what other bidders are putting forward there is not the sole problem with the lack of transparency in this particular case. The emergency hearing was held after the Onion, along with families of Sandy Hook Elementary School victims, announced Thursday morning they had won the right to buy right-wing provocateur Alex Jones' Infowars website. Trustee Christopher Murray is tasked with liquidating Jones' estate in bankruptcy to help him pay down approximately $1.5 billion in defamation judgments related to false statements he made, calling the 2012 the Sandy Hook shooting a hoax. The designated backup bidder for the assets was First United American Companies, LLC, and they asked the court for a status conference Thursday to address what it called apparent defects in the sale process. First United operates the website for online supplemental store shopalexjones.com. So this First United American is obviously far friendlier to Alex Jones than the Onion. The question is, if they were offering less money, why would the trustee take it? Why would the trustee take less money from the Onion than they would take from First United? First United attorney Walter Sikak of Wash, Sikak and Gaston LLP told Lopez that there was a change in the format of the sale procedures on Monday, and he was concerned about the lack of details in the final bid. Quote, nobody should feel comfortable with the results of the auction, Lopez said. That's the judge saying nobody should feel comfortable with the results of the auction. The Infowars asset on sale included production rights and materials, more than 400 domain names, social media accounts, podcast sites, newsletter subscribers, archival library, e-commerce nutritional supplement business, product trademarks, and production equipment. If the Onion's parent, Global Tetrahan LLC, successfully acquires the assets, the Sandy Hook families that backed the deal have agreed to waive their potential recovery and give it to all other unsecured creditors, Murray said. So Murray, again, is the trustee. He's the one who's trying to maximize it. He's like, part of the benefit here is that they're willing to waive their potential recovery and give it to all other unsecured creditors, because you have to realize that they're the creditor standing in the way of others, and they're saying we're going to let other creditors collect from Infowars if you let the Onion be the one to purchase it. So that's a value that's beneficial, and that's part of the logic as to why purportedly Murray is agreeing to this. Murray, again, is the one who's overseeing this for the trustee. So the trustee is Christopher Murray. That means he's the one who's overseeing this entire process. He's supposed to be independent and neutral. So Murray is making the claim, you know why we sold it to them? Because we have this other benefit that comes courtesy of the families here, that they've agreed to waive their potential recovery and give it to all other unsecured creditors. Does that mean they're waiving the whole $1.5 billion? You sell off Infowars and we're waiving the rest of it? Quote, I've never seen this before in any other case, and we did a lot of research and we never found it, Murray said. But I've always thought my goal was to maximize the recovery for unsecured creditors, and under one bid, they're clearly better than they would under the other. So Murray is trying to say, look, it's true that they were offering fewer dollars, but this might open up the availability for creditors to collect, other unsecured creditors to collect money, whereas otherwise this $1.5 billion judgment is going to be standing in their way. So in that sense, it's a benefit that I'm helping protect the unsecured creditors to recover some monies that otherwise they're going to get big fat zero, which there is a logic to what he's saying here. I'm not saying that Murray is acting in good faith. I'm simply saying that the argument that he's presenting here could be deemed by a court to be a good faith argument. I want to look at this from both sides. Let's assume that this Murray guy, Christopher Murray, is being fair here. And he's like, look, I know Alex doesn't want it being sold to the Onion. I get that. But the upside of it going to the Onion is these other unsecured creditors I'm supposed to be protecting the interest of the Sandy Hook families and the unsecured creditors. And this way, the unsecured creditors will get some money. Otherwise, they're not getting anything because this judgment's going to stand in front of them. So in that sense, in that perspective, you can understand where Christopher Murray is coming from. Now, and he's like, this doesn't come up very often because it's very rare for someone to say we're happy to take less money as long as it's going to party A rather than party B. And the question is now, do the families have the ability to say we are happier to take less money if it goes to this party rather than to that party because there's a benefit upside to the unsecured creditors over there? So does a trustee have the authority to take that into account or not? This is a question of bankruptcy law that I've never explored. I'm not a bankruptcy attorney. I don't know. I'm simply explaining to you what the logic and argument is so we can try and get a better handle for what Judge Lopez is going to be trying to wrap his brain around. And it probably is going to require some legal briefing, because I can hear arguments saying, no, your job is to just maximize whoever's offering the most. That's what you have to do, because that's what's standard. That's what's going to happen in 99,999 cases out of 100,000 cases. This is a very unusual offer that's being made by the unsecured creditors. And you can understand them saying, you know what, it's worth us. I'm not surprised to hear them say, we'll give up a couple of $100,000 that would be split between 19 families anyway for the purposes of humiliating Alex Jones, because they want to get vengeance on him. Then I think that perhaps the judge is going to look at what the unsecured creditor's position is. Are they also supporting this? Because now they feel like they're going to have a chance of getting money that they're owed by InfoWars. I don't know. Some factual elements here which may play into the judge's thinking, and also there are questions of law as to, can a trustee take that into account? And I guess you do have to look at what his primary concern is. Is it to get the most dollars, or is it to get the most availability of dollars to help protect the interests of the unsecured creditors? Again, the unsecured creditors are third parties you and I don't know about, who InfoWars, let's say, had a contract. I'll give you an example, okay? InfoWars, let's say they were renting out their apartment. So now their landlord says, hey, I know they got $1.5 billion judgment against them. They're renting out their studio. So, and they're supposed to pay $10,000 a month to a landlord. They have a contract with this landlord, which basically says we're going to give you $120,000 a year for using this studio, for this location. Now, all of a sudden, everything's being shut down. Under the terms of the contract, if you leave earlier because of bankruptcy, you still need to pay us. You have a 5-year contract. You still need to pay us $300,000. So that would be like an unsecured creditor. They're like, hey, he owes us the money. He owes us $300,000 under this contract. We want to be able to get some of that money. Now he's filing for bankruptcy. Okay, maybe the $1.5 billion judgment is in front of us, and maybe you could sell off a lot of their assets. Maybe there's other assets that now would be left over that can help satisfy the $300,000 that he owes us as the landlord. So, and now Chris Murray is coming along, and he's like, well, if they're willing to waive all their other claims under the bankruptcy, if I just take this offer, now I'm creating an availability of other monies that could be available for the unsecured creditors, like the landlord. I just made up the example of the landlord. I don't know if they have any deal with the landlord, if the landlord is any kind of creditor of theirs at all. To me, it's a logical potential creditor, but there could be, talking about a business which has dozens of employees, there could be a lot of different unsecured creditors. The employees themselves could be unsecured creditors, or former employees that, whoever they had any sort of business relationship with that they still owe money to would likely fall under this rubric of an unsecured creditor. And so I can understand where Chris Murray is coming from here. I don't assume that he's acting in bad faith, even though when you hear this story and you see what they're doing to Alex Jones, who certainly is a sympathetic figure, and he's someone that the left would love to target, and you tend to assume, after all the corruption we've seen and how this case has gone down so far, the first knee-jerk reaction is, oh, Chris Murray is some shill for the deep state, and he's trying to basically embarrass Alex Jones. I say to you, is that possible? 100% definitely possible. Is that definite? Not at all. Not at all. Because there could be good faith reasons for Chris Murray to be doing this, as he's spelling out. Murray also assured Lopez that the winning bid was more than the $3.5 million offered by First United. The Onion said it plans to start its transition to the website immediately and wants to launch a new platform in January 2025. Its CEO, Ben Collins, was a disinformation reporter at NBC News Division before being tapped to lead the satirical website. In a live online broadcast Thursday morning, Jones said people were at the Infowars studio attempting to shut it down. Murray said that he went to the Austin-based studio Thursday morning to secure the assets for the winning bidder, but hasn't laid off any of its roughly 30 employees. He confirmed, however, the plan has always been to shut the show down. Jones' lawyer, Vicky Driver of Elliott Thompson and Gibson, LLP, said she was concerned that people who worked at the site would lose their jobs, saying the business was making an extraordinary amount of money. Chapter 7 trustee is represented by Jones Murray, LLP. And that's another consideration for them to go through as well. So there's a lot here for Judge Lopez to consider. Judge Lopez has said that he's planning on having an evidentiary hearing to try and look into, let's see what happened with this whole bidding process in general, so I have a better feel for it as to what went down, and maybe have an evidentiary hearing, which would be a hearing where he would actually be taking evidence as to how this whole story unfolded, that the Onion ended up being determined to have the highest bid. And for now, this sale has been paused, and InfoWars is still in the possession of Alex Jones. That is likely to change at some point. The question is who ultimately the new buyer is. And that's probably going to be, dependent on the findings of the evidentiary hearing that Judge Lopez plans on conducting. I will share with you one new wrinkle that comes into this whole thing now, and that is Elon Musk. Elon Musk's attorneys filed within the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of Texas, short filing, but it's a notice of appearance. And then everyone's speculating, well, what's Elon's objective here? It could be that his notice of appearance, when you first hear this, and frankly, I'm going to be looking at it for the first time now, but his notice of appearance could be that, hey, look, the X account itself is an asset, and I need to know what's happening with that. It could be something as simple as that, or it could be Elon decides to come in as a potential buyer. I don't know. But this is what he's made public. Please take notice. The undersigned hereby appears in the above captioned cases on behalf of X Corp under Bankruptcy Rules 2002, 3017A, 9007, 9010, B, and Section 1109B of Chapter 11. Hereby request that any and all notices given required to be given to these cases and all papers served required to be served in these cases be delivered and be served upon the persons listed below at the following addresses of Latham and Watkins, which is a big firm. Latham and Watkins is a they're a firm that works on a national level. They're a very big firm. Please take further notice that the foregoing request includes not only notices and papers referred to bankruptcy court provision and bankruptcy rules specified above, but also includes without limitation all orders, notices, hearing dates, applications, motions, petitions, requests, complaints, blah, blah, blah. And this is all filings that they want to be incorporated on it. And please take further notice that this request shall not be deemed or construed to be consent to the jurisdiction of bankruptcy courts in the Southern District of Texas. We might ask to have it moved, or a waiver of any substantive procedural rights of X Corp, including to have final orders in non-core matters entered only after de novo review by United States District Court for the Southern District of Texas, or to have a trial by jury in any proceeding so triable in these Chapter 11 cases or any case controversy, and to have the District Court withdraw the reference in any matter to mandatory or discretionary withdrawal and any other rights, claims, actions, offenses, set-offs. So they're basically saying we're here and we want to be a part of this case. I have not yet looked up. I'm not familiar with these particular sections that are cited as the basis of them coming into this case. I can take a quick look at that and see if I come up with anything. Let me see if I can come up with anything real quick here. I'm gonna do a quick look see. So this is just, first thing I'll find is 9007 is referring just to notices in general. Let's see, 9010, 9010B, 90. Trying to see if any of these notices say situations where if it gives any indicia as to what the nature of why they're coming in. If that can help us out. 9010B, 9010B doesn't really seem to help very much either. Let's see if 1109 can be more of a help. I doubt it. Just the right to be heard. They're just expressing that they have an interest, but that doesn't tell us what that interest is. It really could be something as simple as InfoWars owes us $8 a month for the last 6 years, or for the last year and a half. It really could be something as simple as that. There's no way really to know. I don't think it's that, but yeah. When Elon Musk is going to step in on a case, it's obviously going to cause a lot of waves and people wondering what his objectives are, because he's obviously someone who can make this bankruptcy go away in 2 seconds if he were so inclined. So that's the story there. Any questions? Any questions from you, the audience, that I can help you out with? Tell me. Let's see what we got here. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Is the word "they" a euphemism for deep state? Well, he ends up saying deep state in the end there. I missed that he said that at the very end. AC's Drafting became a YouTube member. Welcome to the following AC's Drafting. Don't know if it's because they attacked him or not, but now when Alex Jones talks, no matter how outrageous, I can't ignore it now. He's a martyr for freedom. I totally agree with you. Matt Skinner, let's work on following the followers. There you go. We're getting a little closer. Unfortunately, there's a time. Let's go. You probably can't trust them. Oh, he's trying. I see what you're doing, Matt, here. You're trying to meet my threshold. Let's not trust them. Did you beat it? Just a little silly government doing government things. You're awesome, Matt. No time for spell check. Let's go. Are we there yet? And then gifting another 20. Oh, my God. You're so friggin' awesome. Another 20 people brought into the following, courtesy of my man here, Matt Skinner. You are amazing, brother. And he hit the 15 out of 15. And he hit the 15 out of 15 in time. Oh, look at that. And who did you bring in here? Daily News, Magoose, Zach Rex Road, Greg Warrener, Mr. T, Painter MN, Awesome Cat. These are all people who are brought into the following, courtesy of Matt Skinner, coming in here and raining memberships down. Our new captain of recruitment, Matt Skinner. Norman Cannonbelt, to appealing, that's what it is. Watchdog, Ice Cut. These are all, you should all express your gratitude to the captain of recruitment, Matt Skinner, bringing these folks on in here. God bless you, brother. God bless you. Who else do we got here? Let's see. I lost it here. Oh, here you are. Spartan 2682, HHH Custom Knives, DePete, Go-Ho Shane, Mary Paquette, Rob Allen Jr., Tony from Chicago, Queen Bee, Kernack, all of them gifted memberships courtesy of Matt Skinner. Bring him on in here. God bless you, Matt. Please bear in mind that I am not the host. I am not the leader of the following. Not at all. So not the leader of the following. Welcome. We have cookies. Can a debtor collude with a bidder? No, not really. Not really. But I don't know enough bankruptcy law to determine what would be considered collusion. The debtor, the primary debtor collude. It does come across that way. I see what you're asking here, Cars in Depth. He can waive his rights, and it does come across like collusion. Again, I know too little about bankruptcy law for me to feel comfortable weighing in legally. I wanted to give you a general scope as to what's happening here and what we should expect, but I'm not holding myself out as a bankruptcy attorney. That is a specialty area, and I would feel very uncomfortable expressing a legal opinion on bankruptcy law. So I'm not gonna. But Matt put me in a bind. Because he basically said, Joe, sorry, you hit your threshold. Now you have to follow 5 people. I do need to follow 5 people now. So let's see what we got. How do we do this? All right. I do think it's appropriate to start with I got finding the 5 people is the hardest part. I have to what did I say I was going to do with them? I was going to retweet them. Oh, good golly. Is that what I wrote? I think I wrote. Oh my God. You animal. God bless you, Matt. Oh my God. Holy hell. Matt's going to drop and fitty. Matt's like, give me a freaking promotion. 50 new members to the following. Now I got to read off all these crazy names. Now I got to read them all off. Who do you bring on in here? God bless you, Matt. All right. Following people should issue their gratitude for being brought into the following. So with each you members here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the following, which is not at all a type of cult. So just give you all a little breakdown here. Ted Scope, there's no spaceships in the following. Johnny Rock, there's no self-harm in the following. Romeo's Heart, you should be aware that there's no harming others in the following. Clara Young, there's no stabbing yourself with a jabby jab in the following. Stephen Hickman, there's no dancing around bonfires. Bill Robb, there's no goat sacrifices. Aaron, there's no squirrel mutilations. Sandal Rocks should know that there is mild farm work. Vince Claude, though, you should be aware. I think you probably are. Tracksuits are not mandatory in the following. They're not at all. Live, Laugh, Bark, Jason Green, BJ Skulls, Breezy, Shake, Sealy, Safety, J.A., Mike French, Dopamine Octopus, J.R. Foster, 1999, James Kirk, not James T. Kirk, just James Kirk, which is obviously, there's no Tiberius there, but he is James Kirk. Gifted a membership courtesy of the following. Go where no man's going before. Stephanie B., Joyce McCurdy, Kat Zapp, Susan Danielle, Muriel Oles, Bridget Quinn, Kathleen Hanover, Jody Vanover, David they do this to me on purpose. Thomy Dave Jones, All the Marbles, Ace of Spades, Dread Clown, Sylvia K, Lady Zelda Kelly, Zelda Kelly, Sonia Garcia, Make S, N Rod, Susan D, Catastrophia, Whistle Stop Cafe, Mangy, Coyote Media, Pete AA9UU. All these people gifted memberships courtesy of Captain Matthew Skinner, Adam Metcalf, Calico 26, Felzoo, Jeff N4 POD, Harlan Epstein, Elfin. Oh my God. It just keeps going. I'm almost done. Hangman, wait. Harlan Epstein, Elfin, Hangman 420, Scuba Diver. All of them gifted. All 50 of these people brought into the following. We're gonna have to make new barracks near here in the freaking following. We're gonna have to put you to work in building you hear hammers. The diggers are all gonna be confused. What's all that hammering going on? Well, we've got to build new barracks for the people that freaking Matt Skinner's bringing on into the following. I don't know what to tell you. People need to sleep somewhere. You gotta sleep somewhere. Well, thank you very much, brother. Thank you. I really very much appreciate your support. You're awesome. Okay, so let's see. I promised here in this thing that I was going to retweet I'll retweet 5 viewers. Okay. So now I got to figure out who to retweet. I think I'll retweet like the last thing they said. I'm totally fine with retweeting as long as it's nothing that's really incorporating like, actual nudity type of thing. I'm totally comfortable pretty much retweeting, and don't make me like cuss because that my dad might one day join X. We are happy warriors. Indeed. Nothing but love. You're awesome. So if you think that you have something that your most recent tweet is something that I should be retweeting, because I promised I was going to retweet 5, and people who are not watching this show, they're going to be like, what the hell is Joe retweeting? I think it's going to be funny. People are like, what the heck is he retweeting? I don't understand this. Your doggo needs a tracksuit? Hey, there you go. You got one. There you go. You should have at least 5 more for all of Matt Skinner's memberships. He did push really hard there. He made it rain. The dude made it rain. I almost took the night off also, which that would have been like we were missing 200 and we were missing like 70 members, 90 members. I don't even know how many freaking members. This guy was making rain all night. How many freaking members did he bring in here? 50, 70, 90 members? God, you're awesome, brother. Thank you. Okay. All right. If you want me to retweet you, you need to put your name in the chat. He's going 110. Did I miss 20 of them? Did I read them off? 50, 20, 90? I don't know. I see here 20 and then another 20 and then 50. If I missed any, I apologize, Matt. Prospering woman saying you give 110. But he is having me follow. Okay. So put like at Stacy Pruitt. Let me see. All right. That's the first one I see here. At Stacy Pruitt. I hope I don't hate it. But I'm just retweeting like a damn fool right now. Let me search. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to share it with you. At Stacy. Did I misspell it? Didn't it? Where was it? At Stacy Pruitt. She put flags up. Where are you? Why don't I see it now? There it is. At Stacy Pruitt. Let's see what we're sharing here. What? Is this it? What did I get wrong? This is what I got. I don't see nothing. Did I do something wrong here? I was trying to hook you up. You just totally made that up. You made that up on me. Dang it. Dang it. Give me an at. Give me an at. I need to start retweeting. American Gal 71. Let's see what you got here. I'm doing like the most recent one. That's what we're doing. Let's see what we got. Still waiting for an answer. I never retweet Laura Loomer. Oh my God. Should I do me a quote tweet or should I add something on? You guys think it's better to quote tweet or just retweet with no words? I'm gonna do a quick vote, and I'm just gonna quote tweet means I can add words to it. I'm gonna take a quick vote. I'm gonna do, start a poll. Or quote tweet. I'm doing a quick poll here. You guys tell me. Tell me what. Give me also if you're in a Rumble. I want to get some Rumble folks in here also. Quote tweet. Annie, get your gun saying quote tweet. Soltron's agreeing. Let's see where the most people are saying. All right, it's 2-1. We're going with the quote tweet, even though it's I got all of 30 votes, and that's fine. All right, fine. Let's quote tweet. Right. I don't know what the hell we're waiting for, but we're all right. Who's next? Nikki Wiedmer. All right. It's I before E. When someone crosses our border without proper legal documents, that is a crime every day, and they're here is continuing to commit a crime. Please tell me one county they want to arrest criminal because they don't want to separate them for a family. What to do with this? All right. Who's next? Who's next? There you go. Sal the hamster. Is that really? That's not you, is it? Annie, get your gun. What is that? That's not it. That's not me. I don't know who that is. Kaya. Oh gosh. Okay. Let's wait. I'm liking this. People wonder what the hell I'm tweeting about. Cat Lord. Let's see what we got. This isn't some like sort of I don't know what the heck I'm quote tweeting here. All right. Let me see who else we got in here. I'm so happy. Good. Daily news. Let's see what we got. Daily news. Escaping the memory hole? What? What? From October 28th? What is this? What am I supposed to do with this? What do I do with that? I don't know what to do with that. Let me check locals. Let me see in locals what people are. I'm gonna give 3 to my locals people because they're diggers and they're here all the time and they show their love. So I'm gonna give 3. I'm gonna give 3 quote tweets to my diggers. My diggers are the people chatting locals. They're hardcore. They're hardcore. Who else we got? Who else we got? Why did I see you? Didn't I do you? I've been doing ghetto. Where are the diggers? It's not reloading. Not seeing, not when diggers are quiet. Check super chat. What do I got? See, this is a whole different thing now. Now we're in a whole different sphere. Before it was Stacy Pruitt, and now it's Pruitt Stacy. Don't become what you accuse the others of being. This goes to show how much. I really want to retweet, like, I want to tweet something that is not just a pure retweet. Because this way I'm sort of retweeting you as opposed to just, it just looks like I'm retweeting Elon. So let's see what we got here. What the hell is this? All right, I can work with. I gotta come up with something. Like thought provoking. Thought provoking. Let me see that guy one more time. It's a good. I'm going down it and what's a good female Amish name? What is classic Jewish names? Come on. Sarah, Abigail, Magdalene, Emma, Rebecca, Joanna. They don't scream Amish. Yeah. Come on to the next one. Who's next? Didn't I do Key of the Cat Lord? I don't know why. I did do this. I'm not doing that again. Elizabeth would have been better, probably. Ruth, I think, is fine. Let me check up in I'm checking locals. I'm checking in. I have a couple of really funny vids I want to share with you all. I think I gotta do like 3 or 4 more of these in order to make sure I covered it, y'all. Well, did wishing Rafur Shlema. If we don't use Latin, then what the hell did we burn $150,000 on law school for? Seriously. I need more names. Who else? Who's next? Any of y'all? Time flies when Joe is stumbling around on the with love. Cover and stream Lakin, please. That's Monday. I plan on doing it Monday. You guys better come out when I'm streaming the Lakin Riley trial. You better come on out. All right. I'm not seeing any more here. I assume it's like 9 in the morning. All right. If no one wants me to retweet them, I will tell you. I tried. I tried. All right. I'm supposed to follow 5? I didn't say I was going to follow 5. Fine. Let me see how many I did. Hold on a second. Let me see how many I did. See how many I did. 1, 2, 3, 4. I never got a fifth one. One, 2, 3. Who was this from? Who sent me this? I don't remember who sent me this. Lord, let me check out this one that keeps getting thrown at me. Groiper 73. There's a person in the chat there. All right. Aloha Prepper. I'm starting to get confused whether people are referring to who they want me to. America. Oh, that's who it was. It was American Gal 71. Thanks, Lisa. Michigan Law Show. I'm already following him. What did he send out there? Who did he have on? Who was it?
Hey! I've actually done it. This isn't good. Okay.
Who did he have?
And my grandmother hated it.
I don't know who this is.
She got so pissed off. Now my
All
grandmother.
right, but I'm definitely I'm gonna restream him. Okay. That's his son Logan. All right. Let me share my stuff now. I think I've honored my commitment on this. I feel like I did okay. Where was we? I'm going to start with this is just something that I thought was funny that everyone should see. This is Joe Rogan talking about, and this is an amazing thing, just how ridiculously happy Joe Biden was when he met Trump. And his thoughts on that was great.
You know what my fucking favorite things of this whole election cycle has been? Yesterday. When Biden and Trump sat down in the White House, Biden voted for Trump. I guarantee it.
I think he's right.
Fucking guarantee it.
I bet anything he's right.
I never saw that dude so happy in his fucking life.
I think he did.
He lost. His party lost.
Like, yeah.
He was happy. When Obama had to shake hands with Trump and do the whole transition thing, Obama looked like Jesus Christ.
Obama looked like he was having a colonoscopy. It was the biggest torture, and it was awful.
Look at look at his fucking smile, dude.
Trump's like, whatever.
Look at his fucking smile, man.
You couldn't wipe the smile off his face. You've never seen anyone smiling like this. This was insanity, his smile. He was so happy to be doing this with Trump instead of Kamala. So happy. Because if you think about it, if you're Biden, like a hard F you to Kamala, hard F you. You forced me on out here. And so instead of transitions, so now not only has Trump beat you, but it's like I outperformed her in every county in 2020. Every county I did better. Every single one. The most Republican one, I did better. The most liberal, I did better than she did. Every county. That's what Biden's thinking. He is thrilled. There's no way he doesn't hate every one of these MFers who's like, you stabbed me in the friggin' back. You stabbed me in the back. I was running for president. I should have had a second term. You stabbed me in the effing back. And I'm so happy that you lost. For sure. For sure.
It's like when your kid gets married.
That dude looks like
it's the same look you have.
It's great. First of all, what have they done to him? What have they done to his face?
Yeah.
Go back to the other picture because there's more high res. Look at his mug, man. First of all, for sure he's got something going on with his forehead. They Botoxed the shit out of his forehead. They gave him a facelift for sure. There's a bunch of different things they did, which very ill-advised, by the way, folks. Look at Trump. He looks like shit. No one cares. Everyone loves him. You don't look better if you get your face pulled back like a lizard.
No.
You just look more like a lizard. Everybody thinks you're a lizard already. But look at that smile. That motherfucker's never been happier in his life.
Never.
In his life.
He looks like happier than he looked at any time during his own presidency. I defy you to find a picture of Biden that happy as president before that day, because he's president now, as president, as vice president, as senator, ever in his life. I defy you to find a picture where he looks happier.
She went down. You can't tell me he wasn't happy. Like when he put that MAGA hat on. You ever see that?
Oh, yeah.
He put the MAGA hat on. And he took it with him on the plane. I guarantee you that motherfucker was happy. He had a giant smile on his face. He said, welcome back to him. I thought it was Hitler. I thought he was dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they all said, right? It's like, hey, this is he's a threat to democracy.
I thought he was a Nazi.
And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're going to have a smooth transition here.
This was the guy that you said was sharp as a tack. He was going to be up until 4 months ago. 4 months ago, that guy was going to be running again. And now here he is smiling like a Cheshire cat.
You think he'd be smiling like that if he was the one who lost? You think he'd be smiling like that if he was the one who lost? No way. So I thought you all should see that. I thought that was very cool. But I also wanted to share with you. So I got one political, and I've got two that are just. This I thought was funny because I was like, this is very true, and I'm gonna have to mute it. Because I'm gonna get hit with a freaking copyright because copyright animals have been all over my butt recently. I just thought this was very true. How women expect you to react to them getting their nails done. This is so classic. As I said, I'm gonna have to mute it. But this is how women expect you to react to them getting their nails done. This is really true. Guys, this is, if you're new in a relationship, this is true. Take notes.
When I see your face.
They want you to. I thought that was so great. I thought that was great. They want to be told how amazing they are for getting a manicure. Don't tell me I'm wrong. I know this. This is all true. I thought this is all. Don't tell me I'm wrong. That was the truest thing in the world. That is the truest thing in the world. And I don't understand. It's like, oh, I did something to make myself pretty. You need to be very excited about this. I thought that was really true. This next one, I don't know what this is, but it's here. I saw it. You have to too. I don't know what this is. Don't know what this is. I don't know if this is a commercial. I don't know if this is. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening in this, but I saw it and I was like, how can I not? And I don't know if there's some sort of illusion that's going on here. I don't know what's happening at all in what you're about to see, but it just makes me laugh. So now you have to see it.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings. Taste the biscuit.
What's
Taste the
happening?
goodness of the biscuit.
What's happening in the back here? What's happening? I don't know what's happening.
Taste the butter spread.
Where are they in a store? What is happening? I don't know what's happening.
Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the butter spread.
I don't know.
To get your butter spread all on me.
I don't know.
I don't like the way it mixes with my.
People are just shopping. They're just shopping. I don't.
Mac and cheese.
There you go. I'll share that. I'm going to share that link over in Locals right now because people need it. People need it.
Taste the bit.
Oh my God. I need to take care of 2 people. 3 people over in my locals because I'm being accused of not taking care of my local people. So let me take care of 3 people here. One of them is definitely Mini Taka, who's always sharing out the Rumble links on my things. Let me find Mini Taka. Let me see what I have here. That's nothing's happening. That didn't work. Oh, Mini Tika. I'm sorry. That didn't work. No, it's an underscore. There we go. See that? 2 hours ago, reposted. This is what she does. Video follow. Let's see what else we got. Ted Scoff 2. Yeah. Ted Scoff 2. I'm his 7th follower. There you go. And finally, Suzanicus. Suzanicus. Suzanic. I have a crazy awesome video to share with you guys. If you thought the last one was good, what? You don't tweet? If you don't tweet, what am I supposed to do with this? This is it? You reply? I need you to have your own work here, but does he really mean it? I see a replier. That's what you are, Suzanicus. I need you to be tweeting, not just replying. Mm-hmm. All right. I can keep my eyes open and see if you're tweeting. All right. Last one. Last video I have for you. This was, I don't know if this is, it doesn't look like AI to me. I have no idea how this can possibly be real, but it really does not look like AI. It really doesn't look like AI. I don't even know if this is a real person. I don't know what I'm seeing here, but this is funny. Not true. We just want to say, oh, that's so pretty. So we can say, really? It was so hard to decide between pale and baby pink. You really like it? Maybe. Okay, here we go. This is it. I thought this was really funny. So sit back and enjoy.
So, Minister.
Oh, that's loud.
Donald Trump is president-elect once again. What are your thoughts on his emphatic win? Well, look, obviously, I congratulate Donald Trump on his victory, and I look forward to working with his administration over the next 4 years. You've got some bridges to build with him, though, haven't you, given that in January 2017, you said, Donald Trump is a neo-Nazi and a disgusting sexual predator. God help the United States. The Prime Minister and I have already had several meetings with President Trump in order to maintain a healthy relationship that benefits both countries, and I think that's what's important right now. When you met the President, did he mention this tweet you wrote back in March 2017 when you said, how can anyone spend time with Donald Trump and not come to the conclusion that he's an unscrupulous, egotistical, misogynistic fascist? God, I hate him. What I'm focused on is making sure that our strong working relationship with the United States continues under President Trump and his team. Even though you said this in July 2017, Donald Trump is contemptible, vile, and odious, a tornado of corruption and depravity in a flappy blue suit. He makes me sick. Donald Trump is a man who speaks as he finds, but I think that it's important that we find some common ground in the national interest, and that's what myself and the Prime Minister are focused on doing in the coming months. So presumably you no longer think what you tweeted in December 2017 when you said, anyone who tries to forge working relationships with Trump is an unprincipled, morally bankrupt charlatan who should be treated with contempt and total disdain. I don't care who you are. If you want to work with that fascist monster, you're a piece of shit. The transatlantic relationship is one of the most important relationships that the UK has, and I don't think that bringing up tweets that I posted several years ago should have any bearing on what we're trying to achieve today. Even though you said in January 2018, oh God, don't ever forget these things I'm saying about Donald Trump. Seriously, if you find me reeling off some spurious bullshit in years to come about looking forward to working with Donald Trump because he's been re-elected, God forbid, then take it as read that I've sold my soul for the sake of my political career and should be kicked in the face for the rest of my life by the people who voted for me. So much has changed in 8 years, and I think that it's incumbent upon us to extend the hand of friendship to President Trump for the sake of national and financial security. Okay, if that's the case, perhaps you should also change your profile photo. Oh, shit.
So there you go. That was pretty funny. That was pretty good. Yeah, I do think it's parody. That's my assumption. My assumption is it's parody, but still, it's pretty funny. It's a pretty good job. Anyhow, that's my show. I'm sticking to it. Please, if you're not yet liked, shared, subscribe, hit the like button out there. I wasn't really very strict about it, which is on me. But yeah, if you can just remedy that, if you've not yet hit it, I would be most obliged to you. I would be most appreciative, and thank you. Tomorrow evening, I'm going to try and prime you, catch us up to date on what's been going on in day one with opening arguments of the Lake and Riley case. I do plan on live streaming that on Monday. So we're going to have busy times ahead. Hopefully see a serious friggin' conviction of this monster who killed Lake and Riley. So we're going to be watching that trial. I will be live streaming it and covering it with you. I'm going to catch you up. I'm hoping to catch up to date on that tomorrow evening. Maybe go through opening arguments and get a general rundown as to where the case is at. So this way we're well primed to cover the trial on Monday when it resumes. So that's the story there. So don't miss tomorrow night. So this way you're ready to jump in with me Monday morning when the trial resumes and I'm presenting live coverage. That's my show. You know the deal. The lab meat. It's not meant for humans. It's not meant for you. You're a good person. It's meant for like the other lab meat's for the other people. It's for the lab meat. Trust me. Lab meat is for them. Lab meat is for they, them, not for you. It's for they, them, not you. And stay away from the bugs. Don't eat the bugs. Don't eat the bugs. No. No bugs. Don't eat the bugs. Have a good night, my friends. And as always, Godspeed.